Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here, and we're talking about the next winter storm, which is heading our way possibly as early as late Thursday, but this looks to be primarily a Friday into Friday night for the peak of this storm. And this is a far different storm than what we just saw, and different than a lot of storms we've seen around here recently. So let me show you the setup here. It is pretty complicated, but some of it's more straightforward than what we had on Sunday. So we've got this Arctic front. This is the easy part here, honestly. The cold air right there, this is an Arctic front, is going to be moving in later tonight and really on Thursday. And just real quickly, I'm going to pop up the surface temperatures here just so you can see those, because this will show you just how cold it is behind that front. I mean, look at that. That air is super cold. So we're going to have plenty of cold air in place. That I don't think is going to be the problem, especially north of the front. The problem is, where does this front stall? Because what we're anticipating, at least I am, is that this front is going to make it to the coast somewhere, and it's going to stall along the coast. And you can already see a wave of low pressure, and in fact, a couple waves of low pressure forming on the front that will pull moisture back to the north and west. So let me show you how this unfolds. All right, first things first, we do have winter storm watches up for a big chunk of the area, including Lancaster County and Union County and points east. Now, you're probably saying, oh, we're not under an advisory or watch. These are technicalities. Sometimes we read way too much in these. Remember, most of these areas could be filled in later with a watch or an advisory, or even upgraded straight to a warning. But you can kind of see the area that we're talking about. This is going to be more a central and eastern Carolina threat than a western Carolina. But one other thing I want to note, because it is important, look at South Texas. Winter storm watch deep in South Texas. Well, why is that? Well, that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, because the cold front stalls here. Our low pressure might be starting down in Texas and riding along the front and impacting us here. That's why I say that's a somewhat important parameter. So let's look at how this unfolds here. I'm going to back this up. There's our cold front. Let me turn off the advisories, it'll be easier to read. So there's the Arctic front. The Arctic front is going to arrive. This is later tonight. This is the 19th. We go into Thursday morning. Here comes the rain. And again, this will start as rain for many areas, even in the mountains. So don't be shocked like, oh, where's the snow? I mean, it's going to start as rain on Thursday. This is a rain event on Thursday. The front pushes through during the day tomorrow, pushes off to the east. Now, depending on how much cold air is to the north, there might be a few snowflakes up in Virginia, but that's not really what I'm worried about. I'm worried about this wave of low pressure riding up here and enhancing this. You see what's going on over Texas down there? Let me go through tomorrow night. We start getting into Friday morning. You see some of the wintry precip as we get into early Friday, but look at this system. We'll go through time. Okay, now look at this. You see, this is snow. Now, this is the difference than the other system. This is primarily going to be snow, probably rain, snow, sleet, and the ice is much further suppressed. It's way close to the coast, so there could be ice down towards Myrtle Beach, Wilmington area. But look at this wave coming up from the southwest. Watch how this moves up and reinvigorates the system. Now, this guidance is showing green, but I'll tell you right now, this is probably going to be snow. Snow or rain. This is the thing about this setup. We're not looking at much of an ice threat in there. It's either going to be rain, snow, or sleet in this situation. So this is less of an ice risk for us, but there is a big ice risk for the Midlands of South Carolina towards the coastal plain, eastern North Carolina. The low cranks up as we go into early Saturday morning. This is 12:20 in the morning. And by Saturday morning, the system's gone. So the majority of this, that's why I said Friday's kind of the main action here. There will be some snow early on Friday morning, but I think Friday late is when things get cranked up. This will probably be the most intense, but it could start as soon as Thursday night into Friday morning, with the bulk of this happening as we go into right there. This is 9 p.m. Friday night. And again, this is likely all snow. So what are we talking about here? Well, let's look at the parameters. I'm thinking, again, this doesn't count the rain at the beginning, by the way. This is only counting the stuff that happens after the front moves through. So primarily snow or rain. And now this mix is going to be a mix of sleet, rain, or snow. It's not going to be freezing rain. The freezing rain is going to be shifted way off to the south. So that's where I expect there to be much more of a risk down there. If we look at the 2% chance, or I mean the chances of seeing 2 inches or more, 2-inch chances of snow, look at where they're highest. This is unique. Normally we'd be looking at the mountains saying, oh, look at all that. There is a chance, 50-60% chance, but the highest chances are up in here. From Greensboro to Raleigh up into Virginia, and Charlotte's kind of on the tail end of this, where we could see up to 2 inches. So I'm actually working on the first snowfall map, and I started putting it together. So I'll start a little bit wider. I'm going to refine this. This is preliminary. I'm showing you now in my vlog because so many of you follow me on social. I haven't even put this on TV yet. But this is kind of my early thinking. This is a work in progress. As we get closer, I will adjust this. But you kind of see this is going to be a unique situation here. We're not used to seeing the heavier snow amounts east and maybe southeast of 85 and 77. So here's 85, runs like this. Here's 77. You go east and southeast of there, you're going to see bigger totals. So Raleigh could be in the sweet spot. The big question here is how much mixing. Unlike our last storm where it was about mixing with sleet and freezing rain, this is going to be about how much rain versus snow. If this starts as snow sooner, it's going to fluff up our totals. If it stays rain longer, it's going to be a little bit less. I zoomed in a little bit closer just to show you our area so you have a better idea. So around Charlotte, basically, if I were to give you a roundabout number for Charlotte, 1 to 3 inches would be kind of what I'm thinking. And the 1 inch would be west, the 3 inch would be east. And then heading east, we could get into bigger totals. The number one question I'll get, what could make this overproduce? Probably the fact that there's less rain and more snow. It's not so much an ice issue, but there is an ice threat. I don't want to underplay this enough because folks that live in the coastal plain, I-95 corridor out in eastern North Carolina, down into the low country, almost the low country, I would say the Grand Strand, probably has a pretty significant ice chance. You could see down there south of Raleigh, Florence, Myrtle Beach area might get a quarter of an inch of ice. There's a distinct possibility that could happen down that way. So I would not discount the fact that that could happen down in that area. So ice is a risk, but further southeast, the real story for us is going to be snow. So a rare case where I'm thinking mainly snow or rain with this event. Right now, as of this recording at 10:45 a.m. here on Wednesday, I'm thinking 1 to 3 inches. And again, the timing is probably the most debatable thing because it could start maybe on Thursday, but maybe more on Friday. And the reason I say that, you back this up. Let's go into Thursday. So this is Thursday afternoon, 3 p.m. That looks like all rain, but there are some hints of some mixing going on. And then Thursday night, does that happen? This is 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. Friday morning, Thursday night, if you will. Does that really materialize? Doesn't look like much, but there could be a brief mix and then a lull in the middle of the day. And then afternoon into evening looks like things crank up because look, that's the low pressure. That's a coastal low. And if you want to talk about some wiggle room, does this low shift this way or this way? There's still some uncertainty in that. So this isn't a write this forecast in stone type setup, but it's certainly a much different animal than our last system where we were really concerned about ice and sleet. And this case, it's really snow or rain for most of the Western Carolinas. And unlike the last system where the heavier amounts were in the mountains and foothills, because of the position of this low in front, the heavier amounts could actually be east of us. So a rare treat for folks maybe in central and eastern North Carolina. Of course, this is just the beginning of a busy couple of days. I will be doing updates tonight. I'll be on air 4, 5, 6, and 11. And of course, we'll have updates all day tomorrow as we get ready for the system. But right now, primary impacts are going to be on Friday into early Saturday.